Hello Craig, how are you?
Not too bad, hi, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay.
So, what was your first encounter with a ghost at this location?
I wouldn't say it was basically a first encounter, it was more like encounters. We were doing a sort of like a blind reading, in which case I was blindfolded and I had headphones on, and we had voices coming through what we call a necrophomic, which is basically a tool that we use that it comes up with randomly generated voices, and it just comes out with words. They don't construct sort of like sentences or anything like that. And so I was blindfolded and I had the headphones on, and the people around me were asking questions, but I couldn't hear the questions. All I could hear was the words that were coming through. And we were getting sort of like, I would hear words like, I'm sorry if I'm not allowed to swear, but sometimes there would be, like they might ask who is there, and sometimes I would hear Caroline, or sometimes I would just, and it would kind of like connect. And then all of a sudden, when I was doing this, I started seeing faces. And bear in mind, I'm blindfolded. Can't see an absolute thing, and I started to see faces coming right towards me, and it was really sort of like freaky. It was like that bit in that Phil Collins video for In the Air Tonight, where the face just comes right up, and I just saw lots and lots of faces coming at me, and nobody was anywhere near me. They were all about 5 or 10 feet away, and it was just like one of the freakiest. I literally had to go, look, wait, stop, I can't deal with this, and I just sort of like ripped off the blindfold, and I had to go away for about 5 or 10 minutes and just kind of compose myself, because it really was like face.
So, what is the most activity you've seen at this location?
There's always some sort of like form of activity. Basically, you see sort of like when spirits sort of manifest, they don't do it like in movies. It's not fully formed human beings or anything like that. It's generally just kind of like shadows at the side of your face. And I have had times when there's been about 2 or 3 shadows that you can just turn around and just see something at the side of your vision to there. As well as when we're doing stuff with the necrophonic, we do kind of, we do have spirits coming through, or we'll record, basically with the phones, we'll record questions and then listen back to them later. And sometimes you'll get a voice coming through or anything like that. But the main thing is, it's not like Ghost Adventures or anything like that. You're not immediately going to get oh, there's a voice, or there's a thing, or there's a creature behind me, oh, it shivers, there's a cold spot. You don't get that. You can spend sometimes hours in the cemetery at about 12 o'clock in the morning, freezing in December, freezing your backside off, and you're just kind of like waiting for that one sort of like voice to come through, or that one sort of something to happen. And sometimes it doesn't happen, but sometimes it kind of like, it does. And you can kind of like, after about 2 hours, you'll get one voice come through, and you just like go.
Is there any advice you'd give us to get more activity?
I would say respect who you're talking to. Don't go in there guns blazing, just like, hey, you, talk to me, and just like, don't go in expecting anybody to want to even talk to you. Especially if it's like a place like here, there may be not a lot of people have done investigations, in the cemetery, and it's kind of like they might want to talk to you, or they might not be used to kind of like to talking to using these things. You have to kind of explain what you're doing, explain how to talk, and just say, oh, that machine over there, that recorder, what we're doing, the recording, if you speak into that, we'll sort of like, we'll be able to hear you and see it. We just hear explain yourself and just kind of like say, you're just here, we're here out of respect, we're here out of, we just want to talk to you. We're not going to do anything, we're not going to be disrespectful. I mean, we did a team that I'm with, Paranormal and History. We spent like 2-3 years building up a relationship with kind of like the spirits that are in this graveyard. And it took us about 2 to 3 years, and we got to know specifically the grave of one family. We got to kind of like build up a respect with them. We went into the history. A lot of what they were coming back with, we could collaborate with when we looked online for the history. That's another thing, do your research. Do your research. Research the history of the gravesite, research the people that are in there, so that if a name comes through, you kind of know what's happening. But just kind of like respect is the main thing. If you think that, if you want to get them annoyed, sure as heck, abuse them or anything like that, but be prepared for what you get back. Be prepared for, retribution, because it's like if I started suddenly abusing you, you would get upset and get quite sort of like angry. And it's the same in the spirit side. You're still sort of like, they're still going to have those types of emotions. So respect is generally the thing, as in life. Respect is the thing. You don't respect them, then, for want of a better phrase, there's going to be hell to pay.
Hello again, this is the graveyard where we'll be doing our investigation in Luke's episode. This graveyard is home to over 500 people and spirits.
Yeah, and it's home to many loved ones and deceased relatives over the years. It's known for its paranormal activity, and to be honest, with how many graveyards are here, I'm not surprised. In this graveyard, we have had reported sightings of a ghost called Amy. This entity, I don't believe is real, so me and Daniel in my episode are going to go investigate this thing to see if we can actually see. Now, with graveyards and all, there's always going to be some stipulation about ghosts and paranormal activity. That's why there's people like me and Investigator Meakin and me investigate these sites to see what we can find.
The road that I'm currently standing on is the road that the alleged Amy entity has been chasing people down. Later on in Luke's episode, we shall be coming here and seeing if we can find her.
People from the coal mines to the wars that have happened over the years, and lots of very forsaken loved ones are gone.
Here I now am at the end of the road. Now this is usually where that spirit stops, but there have been some instances of people being chased out of the graveyard. Now what we are hoping to see here is the spirit, but we've heard it can be rare.
Now, I understand people's theories with spirits and all that, but honestly, I don't really believe in this thing that's chasing people. So that's why I was really interested and intrigued to investigate this such thing. Apparently, Daniel said this tree here was the tree that she chases people. Honestly, I don't believe it. When we investigate this, I'm going to be making sure that this thing doesn't actually exist.
I am now stood in front of the infamous building known as the Shadow Man building. Now, you can enter here, but I do not believe we are allowed to. So, depending on if we get permissions later, we could in Luke's episode. But for now, all we can do is hope.